All right, welcome back. I'm so excited. It's day 4 of our Soul Fed Challenge. We are working through hunger, fullness, snacking. How do we eat in a way that really truly honors God? I'm Dr. Christian Parks, and welcome to my challenge. So, today we're going to talk about the differences between physical and emotional hunger. How do you know the difference? What do you do with each? Because the approach is different. Well, the problem is for most of us, whether it's physical hunger, emotional hunger, we're doing exactly the same thing, which is eating. And that is the problem for most of us. Honestly, so many times that we eat, we're trying to fill an emotional need. And it works. I'm never going to tell you that eating doesn't solve emotional distress. It does. It does. It does, but only for a moment. And it creates bigger problems for you later, which for those of us who are doing this challenge, it's our physical weight that is unfortunately the consequence of eating outside the bounds of God-given hunger and fullness. So let's get to the details on physical hunger versus emotional hunger. But first, let's start with the scripture that we're going to focus through today. And this one is in Matthew 4:4. And it says, I'm just going to read the second part of it. It says, man shall not live by bread alone, but by every word that comes from the mouth of God. I think a lot of times we're so caught up in our internal experience that we forget that the needs that we have are much more complex than the solutions that we offer ourselves. A lot of times what we're doing is we are using food to solve emotional hunger. And we know in our minds, we know intellectually that the solution for an emotional or spiritual need is not food. There are other things that we need that will fill that hole much better. But we learn over the years to use food as the thing that solves every need we have. We snack, we eat food because we are bored, we are stressed, we are overwhelmed, we're trying to avoid something that we need to work on. We don't want to do it. And so the chips look really good when you don't want to do that thing that you need to do. And here's something I hear often from people. I hear that, well, I'm so hungry. Okay, there is a caveat. For a lot of us, sometimes the food that we're eating, particularly highly processed food, so think food in packages, things that contain refined flour and sugar, those foods do drive hunger. And so if that's what you eat a lot of, you might want to look at that, because it is going to be harder for you not to bounce from screaming hunger to screaming hunger to screaming hunger if what you're eating are a lot of breads and crackers and cookies and snacky type things, because that's hormonally what happens in your body when you eat those foods. That's a different conversation. The other piece of this is the way we experience physical versus emotional hunger is different. We just don't always notice. So let's get into that. Physical hunger is not an emergency. If your hunger feels like an emergency, one of two things is happening. It could be the type of food you're eating, as I mentioned, but it may not be physical hunger. So let's talk about it. What does it feel like to be physically hungry? And a lot of times, because we snack and we eat throughout the day, and because of the way we're used to eating, we actually don't know what physical hunger feels like. So I'm going to describe that so that we can try to find that in our bodies. When you get hungry, I want you to think of it like waves on the shore. Okay? They are, when hunger first comes, it's a very small wave. It's just a gentle, it's a suggestion. It's very quiet. I'm going to give, for my numbers people, I'm going to give you a numerical way to try to assess this as well. But let's start with this. Hunger comes in waves. You'll feel this little, like a very quiet nudge, like, kind of maybe a little hungry, maybe. It's this very gentle. If you do nothing, which I encourage you at that level of hunger to do nothing, ignore it. Keep doing what you're doing. Keep working. Keep getting stuff done around the house. Whatever you got to do, just ignore that. That's just a little, like a little tap on the shoulders. Nothing. Keep moving. Then it will come back. Maybe 40, 35, 45 minutes. A little bit louder. More of a suggestion. Hey, think I'm hungry. Okay, good. Bypass that one too. Don't even worry about it. It's not loud enough to really, if you were in a meeting and you were focused or you were doing something fun, you would not even hear that. It wouldn't get your attention. Usually what happens is you hear that is because you really don't want to be doing what you're doing anyway. So that seems like a really good way to get out of it. Ignore that one too. As it comes a little louder, you're going to get to a place where you're going to say, oh, for sure, I'm hungry. I'm not talking about that hunger where you go, I'm starving. I have to eat right now. I would eat my arm off. No, don't wait for that level of hunger. I want you to wait until your body says, I'm definitely hungry now. It's time to eat. And it should be a level of hunger where you're not particularly picky. It's not, I'll eat anything, but it's also not, I only want something that has a bunch of sugar or fried, or if I offered you a veggie plate or a chicken breast or like real normal food, you wouldn't be like, I don't really want that. I really want some fries. Not sure that's real hunger. Okay, how else do you know? Where is it in your body? It is a physical sensation. Physical hunger is a physical sensation. You're going to find it in your body, and it should be under your left ribs. That's where your stomach is, just close to the middle, but not all the way in the middle, where there's this sort of pulling, gnawing, like naggy sort of sensation physically in that space. It doesn't usually involve noise. If you hear gurgling and noise, that's probably digestion from your last meal. It's not usually hunger. Occasionally it is, but most of the time, what you're feeling is this kind of emptiness and this little lack in that space where you're a little bit of a pulling, tugging, uncomfortable sort of sensation. It's not miserable. It's just it gets your attention. You go, oh, I'm hungry. Okay. Now, for my numbers people, we're going to talk about a hunger scale. Hunger scale is a way to gauge when you're hungry enough to eat and when you're full enough to stop. So I'm going to give you the basic idea. A minus part on the scale is hunger, and a plus part of the scale is full. 0 is neither. 0 is I'm comfortable, I'm not really hungry, I'm not really full, I'm fine. Okay? This is where you're going to spend most of your time, is at a 0. You're not really going to be hungry, and you're not going to be overwhelmingly full. So what you're looking for, like I said, with the waves coming in, little gently, little louder, for hunger, is you're looking for when you get to a -4 before you eat. When hunger first shows up, if you're even noticing it, it's usually like a -1. You don't need to eat at a -1. -2, don't need to eat at -2. -3, you need to be paying attention and going, oh, okay, it's getting time to eat soon. And then you can make a decision. How far is it till I have a break for the next meal? What do I have my plan for my food? Is it available? Is it something when I actually get to -4, can I eat? To go get a glass of water, some tea, chew some gum, whatever, so that I can just wait until I have the break when I can actually eat. Don't eat. Because if you eat, because, oh, I only have time now. It's too early. If you don't eat, no emergency. Your body will get a snack from your storage. It's fine. There's no emergency. Okay? Wait until the next opportunity you have to eat and then eat. Okay? If you are, I cannot eat for like 2 more hours and I'm at a -4 right now and I can't stop and eat a big meal, but I'm really hungry, have a piece of fruit. It'll be gone in 45 minutes or an hour, and then you can have your meal because you'll be hungry again. Okay? No emergency. Emotional hunger, on the other hand, has no place on the scale. It usually is like a -10 in me. Like I have to have something right now. I have to have chips. I have to have cookies. I have to have a soda. I need it right this minute. It's almost like having that, I got to have my coffee in the morning. It's like that caffeine need. It's loud. It's loud, loud, loud. And there's no place in your body. If you scan through your body, like think of yourself like a CT machine where you just go head to toe, scan down and up, you can't find it. It's not in your body. It's in your head. It's because you're stressed about something, you're overwhelmed, you're bored, it's an emotional need. And the chips will distract you from it for 10 minutes. It will hijack your weight loss, and it's not the right solution. So learning to cope with the emotions differently is a whole nother skill set I teach my clients. But I want you to start recognizing when your body is emotionally needing something versus when your body physically needs food. So that's the negative side of the hunger scale so that you can know how hungry to get before you eat. I do not want you to be at a -5, -6, -7 if you can avoid it, because you tend to be overly hungry and you're rushing. And then it makes it hard to actually stop on the plus side of the scale, which is what I'm going to teach you now. When you eat, you do want to eat slowly. It takes your body about 20 minutes to register fullness and enough. And if you're rushing, you're going to hit the 20-minute mark and be overly full. You're aiming for a +4 on the hunger scale. You want to be full enough that you are satisfied, but not full and too full so that you couldn't go for a walk around the block, or you need to take a nap, or you need to take your belt off, or you're uncomfortable. You're just like, ooh, that's a lot going on there. That's too full. That's more like a +6, +7. Think about a +10, like overeating on Thanksgiving, where you feel stuffed like the turkey. That is way too much, where you regret having eaten all that because you're just miserable, where you know the next several hours you're going to suffer for how much you put in your body. That's a +10. You'll never want to see that again. Okay. But you also don't want to be at a +5, +6, +7, because that's overeating. All right. If you want to have a different number to aim for, I want you to, there's a Japanese concept called ikigai, which is aiming for 80% full when you finish eating. That means you never eat to the place where you are 100% full. I want you to think of yourself kind of like a soda bottle. If you ever look at them, they're never 100% full. There's a space at the top between the top of the drink and the cap. And the reason why that is there needs to be some room. Otherwise, that soda is exploding when you open it, right? Okay. Think of yourself as filling yourself up like that, 80%. You're more than comfortable at 80%, but you're not over full. You don't get heartburn. You don't have, this pushing sensation where your stomach is like stretched out and uncomfortable. You don't ever want to see that discomfort from overeating again. It doesn't feel great. It doesn't work well, and you absolutely won't lose weight. Both pieces need to be there. Waiting for hunger and stopping at politely, comfortably enough food. Okay. So before you eat, here's the exercise for today. I want you to ask yourself, am I physically hungry? Scan your body, look for it. Or am I emotionally hungry? Which is it? And then I want you, if you're not physically hungry, I want you to ask yourself, why do I want to eat? This is where you write stuff down. Okay? Here's the next thing I want you to do, write something down. Big, 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 big important thing I want you to do. Write down a victory today. I don't care how small it is, if you noticed you were emotionally hungry and you took a moment and you identified that, even if you ate, I still want you to write that down. If you waited till you were hungry, you got to a -4 before you ate, I want you to write that down. If you ate only until 80%, I want you to write that down. Whatever it is that is a victory today, I want you to write it down. If you had multiple victories, write them all down. If you had multiple failures and one victory, write the victory down. I want you to be noticing what success you're having. All right? So that's what we've got for today. I want you to remember, man does not live by bread alone. The food you eat is not enough to sustain you. You must also have the support, spiritual help, emotional help. What God's talking about from every word that comes from the mouth of God. All right, that's where our main support comes from, not food. All right, I'll see you. We're going to wrap this up. Day 5 coming up tomorrow. See you soon.